Prowler, not a problem just yet.
Oh!
Trying to dodge, dive.
Yes! Yes, Brokey! Yes, Brokey, we love you! He's alive! How is he alive? How is he alive?
Co-streaming. It has become increasingly more popular in the last few years. What started as a select few having the rights to watch and stream games to their audience has turned into a mainstream practice for the majority of esports events. Let's take Worlds 2024 for example. It was the biggest esports event to date, with a final match that surpassed all the viewership records from any tournament from any game. More than 75 creators were given the right to co-stream the event, and some were even invited to the arena to watch it live. Creators from different regions, languages and countries give fans more options as to who they want to watch and give the tournaments more viewership. Maybe you wouldn't have watched LEC last year if Caedrel wasn't streaming it. I know I wouldn't have. It's genius. It attracts fans from all the different creators and not just fans of the game itself. Some creators are smaller, some are so massive that they end up having more viewers than the official main broadcast. You've heard about them. People that are so popular in their environment that they became the face of their game. Some having double the viewership of the main broadcasts of the biggest esports tournaments in the world. CS, Valorant, League of Legends, Ohnepixel, Tarik, Caedrel. These three are above everyone else in the co-streaming scene, but how exactly did they get there? In this video, we'll explore how these three streamers became the face of their respective games, what their journey was like, as well as tackle the psychology of why co-streaming works, what makes a good co-streamer, and much more. So without further ado, let's start from the beginning. To a non-esports person, the concept of co-streaming doesn't make any sense. Why would you watch someone watch someone? To explain it to my mom, I said, it's like Ronaldo had a channel on TV and co-streamed the Real Madrid games. And can you imagine that? Can you imagine co-streaming in real-life sports like football and basketball being a thing in the near future? I don't really see it working outside of esports, but then again, I don't really understand how it works inside of esports in the first place. Why would you watch some dude in his bedroom instead of the organization of the event that costs hundreds of thousands to produce? Yet I still click on the Tarik stream instead of the VCT one every time a big tournament is happening. To understand co-streaming, we have to go all the way back to the start of reaction content. The whole watch someone idea. When this trend started on YouTube, every single video blew up. American reacts to football, volleyball player reacts to Haikyuu, surgeon reacts to Michael Reeves. You know these videos are not gonna add anything to your life, yet some part of you is morbidly curious to see just what that person has to say about it. So it seems that people watch someone because of the point of view or additional information that an expert on that subject can add to the original video. Except you have people like XQC who just stares blankly at a screen for 2 minutes without saying a word and still gets thousands of clicks on his reaction videos. So it's safe to assume that the first condition we found isn't the only reason why people watch reaction content. It seems that sometimes a reaction from your favorite streamer is enough. It's like finally showing Attack on Titan to your non-anime best friend. When that first plot twist hits, you're not even watching the TV. Your eyes are straight on them, watching their expression as they finally admit to you that you were right all these years. So attachment to a creator is also a reason why people watch this type of content. A creator that has developed a sense of community and trust with his audience creates a very interesting parasocial relationship with the viewers. You know Caedrel isn't your friend from school, yet some part of you feels attached to him. If you're like me, you've probably spent the same amount of time watching your favorite streamer as you have spent with some of your real life friends. So, of course you're gonna click on Caedrel's stream, because why would you watch something alone when you can watch it with your friend? Plus, humans are habit building creatures. So if I click on his stream every single day, why would game day be different? However, there seems to be a third hidden reason as to why people like reactions. And this one might be on a level so primal that it's easy to ignore. The main word here is empathy. The same reason you feel sad when someone is crying in front of you, or you smile when someone is happy. Humans are social creatures, and it seems that we have a primal need to experience things with other people. In monkeys, there are even something called mirror neurons, which are the main reason why monkey see, monkey do is even a thing. So now that we have a better understanding of why people watch reaction content, let's look at the biggest co-streamers in the world and analyze their journey on how they went from being literally nobodies to being the face of their respective games. The first of the big three is Tarik, aka Lil Bro. Major winner, overpass whiffer, scope merchant, serial eater. He is known by many names, and even though most people knew him as a former competitive CSGO player, he has over time shifted his content from CS to Valorant and slowly made himself the face of the game. This transition and success are almost without precedent in the gaming sphere. Usually when a person is associated with something online, people remember him as that something guy, making Tarik the CSGO guy for years and years. When expanding or changing their content, streamers lose most of their audience and rarely have the success that they had in their old genre. This is perceived as a very risky move. However, not only did Tarik succeed, he got bigger. Bigger to a point where he hosts his own Valorant events together with other creators like the Ludwig X Tarik Invitational and comments on other events like the Sentinels Invitational. When VCT Americas is happening, usually Tarik gets around double the viewership of the official tournament broadcast. So how did he go from streaming in a closet to being Valorant's biggest streamer? Tarik saw his first bit of popularity in the infamous Serial 4K, and just in case you haven't seen this, take a look.
Two there, one corner.
Yeah, two there. Three there, three.
I'm leaving mid.
Boost here, boost you, come on.
Yep.
Bomb.
I'm blind.
Bomb's there.
I'm blind.
Went out mid. Dead.
Wow.
Tarik.
Good fucking
guys.
round, dude.
I
You
don't think
just...
they heard you ever. They never knew where you were.
In this clip, we can clearly see the tiny closet that he streamed from, and the cereal that I believe was his dinner at the time. Tarik wanted to be a professional Counter-Strike player, but even when he got signed, he never stopped streaming, cultivating a community for over a decade while playing for some of CSGO's most prestigious orgs. He played for CLG, Optic, C9, MIBR, NRG, and EG. He found success in several of these, winning many S-tier tournaments, but his competitive peak was definitely the E-League Boston Major 2018. Cloud9 were far from the tournament favorites, and they even started 0-2 in the Legends phase. But with the home crowd on their side and the power of friendship, it seems like, Cloud9 managed to win the next 3 games and qualified for the Champions stage. Here it was do or die. They made short work of G2 and moved on to face SK, the legendary Brazilian team and one of the tournament's favorites. They struggled against SK, but won 2-1. And in the finals waiting for them was none other than the best team in the world at the time, FaZe Clan. This was an all-star roster, a roster made to win. This was one of the best and most entertaining finals I have ever seen.
Straight out from Caedrel, but it might be too little too late. That's a good no-scope there from Caedrel, but he still needs to get the bomb down! Goes down straight away. That was maybe the only chance, but Guardian comes back in. Oh, Guardian, he gets 2! There's still more to go, though. Cloud9 must plant the bomb. The peaks come in, but Guardian will not stop. One more to go, and Guardian gets them all!
But he's using crude instruments to do it. There's another tag. Surely there's no way FaZe can do this. They've got to be running to their doom. These scouts are going nuclear. Tarik has done so much damage, and Guardian's got to run away, but he can't. They don't get a single kill. FaZe
Clan won the first map 16-14. Cloud9 bounced back on map 2, and it all went to Inferno.
Automatic's already towards the balcony. Here's the rotation. He punishes it immediately. A fatal mistake from FaZe. Cloud9 are harvesting eyeballs and organs.
In goes Cloud9, but Ohnepixel has something to say. 3 kills! That's a great defense from him, and Guardian starts to get in on the action as well. FaZe! Can he find the player in pit? This is massive. No, Caedrel gets it done, and that's so huge. They can now go for the plant. 5 seconds to go.
Oh, wow.
Great return there from Tarik.
The laser lines are being held. Tarik is waiting for it, and Tarik delivers the kill. Are they going to play against the clock, FaZe Clan? Because there's 18 seconds. It's being collected. Tarik takes one in the face. Tarik gets punctured as well. Caedrel must hold the line. It could be 2. One to the left, one to the right. Both if the timing's right. Rain's still alive. In the red, he's dead. Round number 7 for Cloud9. Tarik looking for some shenanigans. There's a flashbang. He's good for 2. Skadoodle unable to escape, standing there with a CZ. He can't draw fast enough. What is going on in this round? They're losing the A site. They're getting absolutely annihilated. But Automatic is hunting. Nico getting tagged. A flying match 7. Are you serious, Tarik? We've got Guardian in a short position. Now Ohnepixel is on short, but it's a flash, and he's taken down. Tarik is not done with this major yet.
Here it is, Tarik! They stay alive for one more round.
Nothing else is going on. He's got to go back. Stewie's on his own. But look at the time. Look at the time. There's 7 seconds to plant a bomb. They're trying to build pyramids, but there's no more clay. Stewie's won the round. We're going to overtime.
Cloud9 have done it! How have they done that? They came back all the way! Don't know how he's done this. Another challenge, that's all he has to win out, but he can't. It's Tarik. Tarik all the way. 3 rounds in a row.
He's got higher health, but it's not perfect. Down he goes. It's Guardian. He's the only man standing between Cloud9 and the major. It's going to be a double peak. There's the first one. We're going to overtime number 2. Cloud9 don't do it. They're still in this major phase, Clan.
He has to frag, and he gets only 1.
He knows Guardian's in construction, trying to back off, trying to reposition, sees him, tags him, but doesn't frag him. Holding the angle once again, but does he go high, does he go low? It is a dance, and now they concede multiple angles. Tarik going, takes Ohnepixel down. Guardian on 11 HP. Rain peaks, and he gets the angle now. Superior angle. Is there a defuse for the CT side? They're not on it just yet. They're spamming the grenades. They're touching the bomb. And now goes Rain. Another bomb is trying to defuse it again, but no. Guardian gets taken down. Absolutely unreal round from Cloud9.
We saw it from this position before. He cannot miss a single shot. Guardian waits patiently as Cloud9 sets the push up. Oh, it's happened! They made it work! Cloud9 are your E-League Major champions!
And there it was. The first and only major for North America, won by Tarik and the crew. Tarik was even awarded the MVP for the major, further cementing him as one of CSGO's legends. After C9, Tarik still found success, but nowhere near the level he was expected to. Keep in mind that all this time, in his free time, he's been streaming and growing his community. After leaving C9, Tarik stuck around competing for about 3 years, and in 2021, he retired. After retiring from pro play, Tarik decided to focus on his streaming career. He started consistently streaming CSGO, but a new game had launched mid-2020 and it was taking the FPS scene by storm. With a lot of ex-CSGO players already playing it, Tarik started mixing it into his already popular CSGO streams. Now, in case you don't know, there's an intense debate over what game is better, Valorant or CS, with some of CS's fans being so passionate about the game that they basically boycott everything Valorant related. This mixing between the Valorant streams and the CSGO streams was crucial to calm down the CSGO frogs while still amassing fans of the new game and growing his audience. Tarik's stream saw a boom in viewership from 2021 to 2022, and by the start of 2022, Tarik was no longer the CSGO guy. He was a vital part of the Valorant community and a link between the CSGO and Valorant players.
We can't kill shit! Holy shit! Shoot it all! I gotta kill them all! I gotta kill them all! You gotta kill them all!
Because of his long history in CS and the friends and contacts he made along the way, Tarik would duo queue with different creators and slowly build relationships with them, further cementing his spot as one of Valorant's biggest creators. Of course, there were others, like Tens for example. Tens was the face of Valorant at the time. With Sentinel's Champions win in 2021, they were the best team in Valorant, and Tens was considered the best player in the world. So how exactly did Tarik pull ahead of everyone else? At the time, Tens was a Valorant pro, and so were all the other big streamers, so they didn't have the time to stream as many hours as Tarik did. The secret here is consistency. Tarik didn't take breaks. It's simple, he just worked harder than everyone else. Here's a clip of FNS, Tarik's former teammate and a Valorant pro, talking about Tarik's consistency.
Listen, you guys have to understand, there's certain things watch party streamers have accepted. And one of those things is that Tarik is unbeatable. because he works f***ing hard. He is there for every single match. He flies out and goes and watch parties games. He did his own watch party in New York for the Sen game. He cannot be touched.
But surely consistency isn't enough to make you Valorant's biggest streamer. So what more does Tarik do better than everyone else?
You know what pisses me off about Tarik? You can't surpass him as a content creator because he's genuinely fucking entertaining. Like, I would gladly watch him. I do watch him. I'm a fucking fan. So how am I supposed to be better than him at this? He's genuinely entertaining. He's been this way for 10 fucking years. Like, I have to accept defeat. This guy is the GOAT of streaming. No one can... I purposely avoid streaming at the same time as him because he's good and entertaining. And that's insane. Why am I glazing? He's mid. He's mid.
So he's one of the best players in the game, having hit rank 1 a couple times in the solo queue ladder. And he's genuinely a funny and entertaining player, making for a very comfortable and enjoyable stream environment. Plus, he has really grown a sense of community with his viewers and with the Valorant scene itself, organizing events like Pro City, a Valorant queue for pros only that provided a higher tier of gameplay closer to pro play. And let me tell you, that was peak content. But that was just the start. After signing with Sentinels mid-2022, he started organizing bigger events like the Lil Bro Cup, the G2 Sentinels show match, and the Sentinels Invitational, and hosted the Ludwig x Tarik Invitational together with Lud to give fans more off-season content and teams more practice and time in the spotlight. Therefore, we can conclude that pushing his content outside his stream with events like this is one of the reasons why today he is the face of Valorant. Now, I'm not gonna bore you with all the co-streaming numbers, but here's the evolution of Tarik's average and peak viewership. We can clearly see the weeks in which the international events are happening by the peaks of viewership, with an all-time peak of 313,000 viewers for the Masters Madrid finals won by Sentinels last year. Tarik's co-streams have become the gathering spot for any fan of the game, and his viewership in some instances has almost tripled the main broadcast, putting Tarik in a different league and making him bigger than the game itself. Our next streamer is the eccentric, the lovable Ohnepixel, or in other words, the hobbyist.
Go to red, go to red, go to red, go to red, go.
Ohne had one of the fastest rise to fame that I've ever seen on Twitch. And all because of one thing. The hobby. Now, if you don't know what the hobby is, here are a few clips.
Oh! 155! Please! Oh my days! Oh my days! I forgot what it feels like! Oh! Versus bugged! It's bugged! Factory new! Factory new! Ah! Gold! Oh my god! Oh my god! Guys! I unboxed Butterfly Law! Look, now, this proves that I'm not addicted. I'm not gonna open the rest of the two. I have the keys, I have the cases. I'm not gonna do it. Look, even I open it. Last one. AKM for RBP. All gloves. Any gloves. No, Vice gloves, to be honest. Vice gloves, please, please. Vice gloves, gold, gold. Stat track, factory new, please. Last one.
To put it simply, Ohnepixel has a problem. He is completely addicted to CS skins and case openings. But how does someone go from just being a skin nerd to the most viewed CS creator in a couple of years? Seriously, 2 years ago I had no idea who he was, and all of a sudden my entire For You page was clips of him unboxing knives. How did he do it? Well, there are two answers here, or rather two factors that made him stand out in the already very competitive CSGO scene. The first one is the hobby. Turns out if you're opening $10k plus cases strapped to a heart monitor, you're gonna attract some attention. Then came the $118,000 case opening stream. That was his all-time viewership peak, with 236,000 viewers. However, before that he had already seen absurd numbers with his watch parties. In the CSGO Paris Major 2023, he saw up to 92k viewers, where his passion and excitement for the game really infected the community, further increasing his popularity. And so did something else, his reactions and commentary. Turns out, Ohnepixel is hilarious and most importantly, unapologetically himself.
Chance. Enter. Dig pattern huntsman! Dig pattern huntsman! That's the code pattern huntsman! Yes!
While Tarik, we talked about before, rose to the top by being consistent and a vital part of the community for over a decade, Ohn's journey was much faster, maybe thanks to the rise of short-form content. With TikToks, Reels and YouTube Shorts, viral clips spread around like wildfire, and Ohne is a content machine. With his passion for the game and over-the-top energy-filled reactions, his clips got shared around, helping him grow at a tremendous rate. Plus, he keeps one-upping himself in his antics, with new ideas, collabs and even events like the team he signed in 2024 for the Shanghai Major qualifiers, the Drillers. He made the announcement on Twitter and made himself the coach of the team. Now, is Ohnepixel qualified to be a coach, you might be asking? And my answer is...
I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble.
The Drillers were alright. They even qualified for the Asia Pacific Major qualifier, but fell short, losing 2-1 to the Mongols and FlyQuest, two teams that will win and qualify for the Major itself. Getting eliminated was rough, but they gave the viewers some banger content and a team to root for, not bound by all the faceless corporate bullshit tied to other orgs. It was an amazing experience and proves how much love he really has for the game. He could have been streaming, filling his pockets, but instead he took a 2-month break to get everything in order and form the team. And as a fan of the game, Madrilla. A trend we can already see in the top co-streamers is they are constantly pushing for new content and ways to engage with the community. That is perhaps the most important thing we've spotted so far on what makes someone the face of the game. I can already see the comments. How are you talking about Ohnepixel when Gaules is bigger than anyone else on this list? And Brazil, you're right. But before you come for me, let me explain. The reason why I put Ohnepixel here instead of Gaules is simply because I'm only talking about the English-speaking co-streamers. Gaules is by far the GOAT of co-streaming with the record of 700,000 viewers in his watch party of the 2022 CSGO Major. He is bigger than any of the streamers in this video, but seeing these are different audiences, it didn't feel right to include him in this video. He is without a doubt in a league of his own, so maybe I'll do a separate video about him in the future. Let me know in the comments if you would like that. And with that out of the way, let's move on to our final streamer. At last, the biggest out of the three. Mid laner turned jungler, turned caster, turned coach. But through all of it, iconic. Of course, I could only be talking about Caedrel, also known as Sally, Mark Lamont, or just Washed for short. Caedrel has a long esports history, dating back all the way to 2015 when he started playing mid lane competitively for a few teams until he landed on H2K in 2018. And if you're a longtime Caedrel fan, you already know what's coming. A misplay so horrendous that it still haunts him today.
1-to-1 in the tower is a dragon advantage as well. Ready to keep a fight. Flash over. How do you... Just canceled. Wait. That was Caedrel just canceled it.
Now, in case you don't play League and didn't understand what happened there, don't you worry, I'll explain. He flashes over the wall and ults the opponent. This character he's playing has a very strong ult that locks the enemy in place and drains his health. It was the perfect play that could have turned the game around, except that he pressed E after and cancelled it. For him at the time, this was a disaster, but hey, a misinput can happen to anyone.
It was a misinput, calm down! You calm the fuck down! There was a misinput!
Plus, Tarik's whiff was way worse and he won a major, so a misplay like this doesn't dictate how good you are. Unfortunately for him, however, the internet doesn't forget. He seemed to lose confidence in himself and swapped to the jungle role where he played from 2018 to 2020, signing for Excel in 2019. He played for them in the LEC until he retired at the end of 2020. It was around that time that Caedrel started his streaming career, and also his casting career. As a former pro player, he could give input in ways that others couldn't, and he had another thing going for him: his humor and charisma. I guess that's two things. Caedrel quickly became a fan favorite within the broadcast, and with the exposure from the LEC castings, his stream grew immensely. He didn't just stick to Europe though. Caedrel also casted international events like the MSI 2021 and Worlds 2020, 2021 and 2022, giving us one of the most iconic caster calls of all time at the 2022 Worlds Finals.
From Pioshik on the top side and then teleport in from Zeka.
TRX circled T1 like sharks, herding them in. T1 didn't find a response. Kuma, can he steal it?
Kuma will have to fire a hell of
What the fuck?
Goroyuchi steals Baron to save this game!
I think the thing that makes me the saddest is how many people wanted me to stay, you know? Like seeing all the comments of people wanting me to stay. I think that was like the...
Yo, Caedrel, loving the content, keep the good work.
That was definitely like the hardest part, I think. So yeah, I don't know. I don't mind leaving too much. It's just like everyone was like wanting me to stay, you know? So I was like, holy shit. I don't know. Ah, I can't cry about this shit.
These days, you can catch him co-streaming every major region as well as the international events. But that is only half of his content, since, much like Ohnepixel, he started his own League of Legends team at the end of last year. Now, if you want a more detailed explanation of this project, you can go check out my previous video, but in case you don't have the time, I'll give you the summary. Caedrel is one of the people with the most amount of knowledge about League of Legends, since he played, casted and co-streamed the game at its highest level for years. The Lost Ratones team was initially seen as a meme team by some, but they quickly proved the doubters wrong. They have an 100% win rate in competitive so far and already have a small tournament win under their belt. As well as the NLC, a tier 2 tournament with already some very competitive teams. The players are elite, and this has excited the community and created a wave that resurrected the tier 2 scene's viewership in Europe. Streaming wise, this idea is genius. Make your own team, have their scrims streamed for an infinite amount of content, and on top of that, watch party their matches for some of Twitch's most viewed co-streams. Like we discussed in Ohn's segment, having a team away from traditional orgs really creates a more personal connection with the fans, and if you give the fans what they want, they will pay you back hundredfold. The Lost Ratones debut was a show match against T1, the best team in the world, and Caedrel's stream inside the event peaked at a whopping 263,000 views for a show match. And in their competitive debut, Caedrel peaked at over 180,000. This in a tier 2 tournament, mind you. However, none of these events were Caedrel's highest viewership peak. In the 2024 Worlds Finals, Caedrel's stream peaked at over 400,000 viewers, setting him aside from any other League creator and putting him in a league of his own when it comes to League watch parties. Caedrel's growth on Twitch has been astronomical, especially in the last 2 years, with viewership peaks for the Lost Ratones matches bigger than some of the internationals for League, making his journey very exciting to watch. What will Caedrel's next moves be, and how much bigger can he get? These are questions for maybe a future video. But before we're done here, let's quickly summarize what we can learn from some of the biggest co-streamers in the world. It seemed like the most important thing that set them aside from other co-streamers in their sphere was the constant push to innovate their content. This is of course also a side effect of the size of their audience. With more following, you have more means and influence to make things happen. So it's not weird that they are the role models in their respective fields. Furthermore, developing a sense of community with their viewers is crucial. Hosting events, collabing with other creators, and doing simple Reddit reviews are all ways to increase the proximity between the viewer, other creators, and the streamer. Having a passion and love for the game is also essential, as well as having expertise in their field. to give their audience a different experience from the main broadcast. There doesn't seem to be one correct way to approach this, but a more comfortable and laid-back approach seems to entice a bigger part of the audience. Consistency is key. That's all. If you want to be at the top, work fucking hard. Finally, being themselves. The viewers come looking for the same experience that they have every other day. It's their reactions that they are looking for, so staying true to themselves, as cheesy as it sounds, is the one approach that worked for all three of them. There is no guarantee that a co-streaming approach to esports events is sustainable long run, both in terms of content and monetary losses. By giving content creators the opportunity to stream the matches, companies increase the visibility of their events. However, they are losing part of the revenue since a big part of the audience chooses a more personal approach, watching people like Caedrel, Tarik and Ohnepixel rather than watching the original broadcast. Here is a clip of Caedrel sharing his worries about co-streaming and his newly found streamer team as a way to get content in the long term.
My concern is, and I've had this concern over multiple things, I even had this concern over co-streaming. A, will people get sick of it eventually? And these streamer teams are just another, like, there's so many streamer teams that it's like, it's whatever, and no one cares anymore. And B, how sustainable is it for teams to have players that they don't pay? At what point is it where the streamer doesn't make enough content that it's not worth it for them to lose their fucking hair competing? You know?
No one knows what the future will hold, but with an increase of popularity of esports and video games, all points to an increase in co-streaming viewership. Will the big three ever get dethroned? Or will they maintain their reign as the biggest and the face of their respective games? Let me know what you think in the comments. That's gonna be it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching and for the support on the last video. To post that with basically 0 subs and getting 100k views on it was just unreal. And as a thank you, I'll keep working my ass off to give you some more banger content. As I'm posting this, I'm already working on my next video, so subscribe if you liked and like the video. I might also start to stream on Twitch, so follow me on there. But yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.